Good afternoon, Western Washington, and happy Saturday. I'm Matthew Fab with Western Washington Weather, and we've got some active weather coming up here over the next few days, including potentially a storm right before Thanksgiving, which could bring some travel chaos. So we're going to have to take a look at that here. We're going to start here with the satellite imagery of what's going on right now, Saturday afternoon. You can see we have this atmospheric river that is moving into British Columbia and clipping parts of northwest Washington right now. That's going to sag south over the next 24 hours and bring some rain across the region. And then we have some more storms after that. So here's the radar right now. You can see some of that rain starting to move into parts of northwest Washington there around Bellingham and the north coast, and then you have some of that rain on Vancouver Island as well. We'll see that continue to move southward through the day today. So starting here with the overall pattern, you can see we have that ridge, but that atmospheric river just here to the north. So you can see how that will sag south a little bit as we go into Sunday, as we get that troughing moving through western Washington. Then we ridge up a little bit there as we go into Tuesday and Wednesday, but you can see there's going to be a system pushing through here in this ridge. There's going to be an atmospheric river right here as we go through Thursday. There's a little bit of a trough there as well. And then as we go past Thanksgiving, we get into potentially some more ridging, and we could have some interesting conditions going on with that. So we'll have to watch that closely. That is looking pretty far out in the extended forecast. But taking a look at that precipitation forecast here, this is as we go through Saturday. Here you can see some of that rain starting to get a little bit heavier for parts of the north coast and the northwest interior. Then it starts to move southward as we get to very early Sunday morning. You can see by midday Sunday you have that rain across western Washington, but it moves through pretty quickly, and by Sunday afternoon and evening, we're mostly dry as that rain pushes south through Oregon. And then you can see as we go through Monday, we have a little bit of some showers around the area, especially out on the coast. Some rain maybe moving through midday, and then we dry out again as we go into Tuesday morning. We remain mostly dry across the lowlands as we go into Tuesday evening, but then some of that rain starts to move back in. Light rain at the start there as we go through Tuesday night, and then we start to get some mountain snow and lowland rain as we go into the overnight hours Tuesday into Wednesday. Look at that heavy mountain snow as we go into Wednesday morning, and then that starts to turn back into rain as we have an atmospheric river hitting the area, and that atmospheric river just bounces around here on the European model all the way through Wednesday night, bringing some heavy rain for that travel day there right before Thanksgiving, potentially some mountain snow. And then you can see as we go into the morning of Thanksgiving there, that rain starts to move south out of western Washington, but we get some convergent zone activity there lingering north of Seattle as we go through Thanksgiving into Friday before we likely dry out. So definitely some active conditions possibly coming up here over the next few days. Taking a look at the precipitable water anomaly. So right here you're looking at basically percentage of normal water vapor in the atmosphere. So you see that atmospheric river that moves through today and tomorrow for western Washington. That pushes south pretty quickly. It's almost moving too fast to even call it an atmospheric river, but that is what it is. And then you see we dry out there as we go through Monday and Tuesday, but then take a look at this coming in Tuesday afternoon and evening. Look at this plume of moisture as it slams into western Washington and western Oregon. Very high amounts of precipitable water here as we go through Wednesday. You can see how that just lingers all the way through Wednesday night into the morning of Thanksgiving there before pushing south into Oregon there. So that is a long-lasting atmospheric river. I mean, you look at it hits there midday Tuesday and lasts all the way into Thursday morning, so almost over 24 hours there. So that'll be very interesting to watch, see how that trends in terms of precipitation amounts. Now we're looking at those precipitation totals. This is through Monday night. You can see we're getting about a half inch of rain across the Seattle metro area there through Monday night. Areas north of Seattle, including Bellingham and Vancouver, BC, likely getting up toward an inch of rain, and same thing there on the north coast. And then as we go through Tuesday, you see we don't get much rain until Tuesday evening. Then we start adding to those totals again, and then take a look as we go through Wednesday. Much more rain for western Washington as we go. I'll stop this here to the night, Thanksgiving night there. You can see our totals up to over 2 inches for most of western Washington. So that is basically looking like about 1.5 inches for most of western Washington in the interior with that atmospheric river setup, and you're looking at potentially near 3 to 4 inches of rain out on the coast with that setup there. And the same in the mountains. It'll probably start as snow, but then we'll switch to rain as it warms up, and you're going to get those rain totals up toward 5 inches in the Cascades. And then you even see some in eastern Washington as well. We'll take a look at that more over the next few days. Taking a look at mountain snow through Monday night. You can see Stevens Pass likely getting 3 to 4 inches, maybe an inch or so at Snoqualmie Pass, not that much. But then as we go into Tuesday, before that atmospheric river really starts to warm us up, we get some significant mountain snow. And as we go to about Wednesday morning, that stops midday Wednesday there. and then we switch to all rain. But you can see with some cooler air in place before that atmospheric river moves in, you're likely getting up toward almost 2 feet of snow at Stevens Pass, maybe 7 to 10 inches at Snoqualmie and White Passes as well, and maybe even some lower elevation snow there into parts of eastern Washington near Spokane that are potentially getting up toward an inch of snow. So this is something we really need to watch closely because this is a few days out, but we still need to watch to see how that changeover happens in the mountains, because with that Thanksgiving travel on Wednesday, this could have some big impacts depending on when that snow changes over, and if it's a clean changeover or if you get some freezing rain in there, which can cause even more impacts. So it's going to be very interesting to watch and see how this plays out. So we're going to need to watch these forecasts very closely over the next few days in terms of rain and mountain snow. Then taking a look at temperatures real quick, you can see today highs likely in the low 50s across western Washington. As we go into Sunday, their highs stay in the low 50s, maybe a few areas in the South Sound in the mid 50s. Monday, we cool down there. You can see highs in the mid to upper 40s. And again, that is part of, you see on Tuesday, there were even cooler highs in the low to mid 40s. And that is why you're going to start with mountain snow and then switch to rain as that atmospheric river moves in on Wednesday. And you can see how those highs increase there on Wednesday, going back up into the low to mid 50s across the region, and the mountains by Wednesday getting above freezing just slightly, but enough so to change things over. And then take a look as we go through Thanksgiving. You see those highs increase into the mid-50s as the atmospheric river moves through, and then we start to cool back down in its wake there on Friday, with highs dropping down to the upper 40s to low 50s, and then we cool down further as we go into about a week from now into next Saturday, with those highs dropping further down into the low to mid-40s across western Washington. And then taking a look at the ensemble forecast, I feel like this is a good way to kind of see when you're expecting that precipitation. So you can see here that system here in Seattle through tomorrow, getting only about a quarter inch to a half inch of rain there. But then take a look at that atmospheric river. You're starting to get a better signature there for it happening there on the European model. Ensemble mean is about an inch of rain in 24 hours. You got some of these members showing up to 2 inches of rain in 24 hours. So it could be a really interesting pre-Thanksgiving day there. And then taking a look at the snow at Snoqualmie Pass, you can see maybe an inch or two there at Monday into Tuesday with this system moving through. And then take a look at this as the atmospheric river starts to move in. You're maybe looking at up to 6 to 10 inches of snow there at Snoqualmie Pass. But then again, we have that changeover, and that's what we need to watch. So don't take any of these snow amounts to be certain right now, because we have to watch it closely to see how it trends over the next few days and to get more details on how that changeover is going to occur. So we have a lot to watch over the next few days, that's for sure. Going into the end of November, beginning of December there, you can see we are trending below average for temperatures across western Washington and near normal to just above average for precipitation. So could be some more active stuff coming up here. We got to watch it closely. So yeah, thank you all very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe here to Western Washington Weather, follow the Western Washington Weather Facebook group, and follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky. Obviously, we've got a lot to talk about over the next few days with that potential Thanksgiving atmospheric river coming in, so stay tuned to the channel for more. I'll keep publishing all the latest updates as we look at how that may impact the travel coming up. So thank you all very much for watching. Stay tuned for more, and I'll talk to you all later.